Hello. We're back for the last session, the final 24 web component. Would you like to introduce yourself? I mean, we did we did the first session together, which I feel like it's kind of poetry that that you are bookending both the first and the last in the series. But sorry, please go introduce yourself to everyone who.
That was my plan. I was like, I got to do the first one and the last one because those are the special episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have the most fun on these episodes. It's like that's like a thing about theatres or something, right? That you have to go and watch the first or the last because the first one they have the most energy, and the last one they're like so keen to get it done. So there's like you got a specific vibe going on if you go and watch a play on the first or the last night. That's what we're doing.
This is our last performance.
But
hi. Hello,
yes,
I'm Katie.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm a systems designer at GitHub. I work with Keith. He teaches me things all the time. So I'm excited to be here and continue learning from you.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think that there's we teach each other mutual amounts. But yes, we develop web components on this channel. And I like to think I know a thing or two about them, and hopefully we can both learn today about some web components. One thing I am very terrible at is CSS, and I understand that you are very good at CSS.
Until it's involving a web component, then I feel like I know nothing about CSS, so this is a great combination.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. But we're both going to learn, and we're both going to hopefully demonstrate our expertise as well in these areas.
Yeah. Keith, tell us before we jump in, like, what have you learned from doing this stream every single day, basically, for a month?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I've learned not to do a stream every single day for an entire month. I've learned how relentless it is. I've learned how to use OBS. I think, but in terms of code, I mean, I've learned quite a lot through the coding. I have learned some various little small bits. We were working on CSS parts in the last session. We were working on this overflow menu, and we got tripped up on a CSS part on that, and that was quite interesting. Mm-hmm. That was something I learned that was new. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the overflow menu, you should. What do you think you've learned, Katie, along the ride? Because you've been watching a few of the streams as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I've already kind of said what I learned. CSS is different with web components.
It is.
So on the very first stream, I was like, hell yeah, I know CSS. I'm gonna have so much confidence in this stream. And then immediately, I had to just question everything. So it's kind of humbling to work on web components in a way, but it's also like really exciting and energizing to get to learn kind of a new technology. So
I think there's also nothing quite as humbling as kind of being stuck on something that feels very like you know it very well, but then you suddenly get stuck on a stream and suddenly you realize it's like the kind of emperor's got no clothes, right? You're standing there thinking, hold on a second, I know this stuff, and why is this stumping me? But hopefully we won't get stumped today. Let's build a web component.
Famous last words. Let's do it.
We've built 20 web components now across 16 days. This will be the 21st, I believe. So we didn't quite make it to 24. I doubt we're going to do 4 in today, but we can try. Okay, I'm gonna click the button. We're gonna see what we get. And today is star rating. Okay, so we're gonna do the usual. Oh, I need to single sign on. I'm pretty sure. Every day it trips me up.
Get your YubiKey.
Yep, YubiKey's at the ready. Do you call it a YubiKey? I call it a YubiKey. Which is the right one? Is that just
I don't know.
Gross thing? Does that trigger anyone? Yubby.
I don't know.
It sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll call it a YubiKey from now on.
Okay, good.
Right. What was this component? Star rating. What's the description going to be? To the stars. Fine. I don't know what that means, but we're going to do that. Star rating. Okay, what does the star rating component look like? I guess this is like your classic 5 stars. Click one of them, and you'll.
Yep, but the most important question is how many stars? Because 5 is not enough stars to give a rating, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think if you're gonna do 5-star, you gotta do half stars.
You gotta do
or
half.
You can do 10 stars, and that's sufficient.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think 10 stars is well. I don't know. I mean, so one thing I dislike about 5 stars is the 3-star exists, and that's just the middle ground. Like that's halfway between, right? I think 4 stars is actually the perfect star ratio because
what?
Well, there's no nuance, and that's what's great about it. It's either 1 star is terrible, 2 stars don't waste your time, 3 stars meh, 4 stars perfect. But there's no middle ground, there's no like nuance. It's just a really blunt instrument of like, tell me how good this, or tell me how much I should avoid buying this thing or watching this movie or listening to this whatever. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we're at odds. So we're gonna have to make it configurable. That's the answer.
There we go.
Right, we're gonna use Kieran's very cool thing, and so we should be able to say star. Oh, this just makes me realise I should have called it star rating element. Well, now we're gonna have to change it. Okay, let's add everything, and we're gonna commit like that. Okay, so we're going to go into the star rating element. Oh, I need to npm install as well, otherwise it's not going to be fun. I'll also go into star rating and start the server, so we can see we have a wave. Okay, star rating. We're getting there. We're getting there. Right. Yes. Okay. What does the star rating element do? Index HTML. So I think this is probably something like an input type range or input type number, right? It like it's going to mimic that. I think we already decided it's going to have like a max, I guess. I'm going to set it to 4 for now, just so we can get started, and then we can see what 10 looks like. Maybe we'll also have a step, and the step can be 1. Whoops. And then, like you say, if you wanted to do 5 and you have a step of a half, maybe we can figure that out later. But let's get this going. So, star rating element. I think we're going to need some styles. So I'm going to get some styles in here. Whoops, styles. New CSS style sheet. We're going to say styles replace sync, and we're just I'm just teeing us up for now. We'll just have some styles here. We're gonna do the usual. We're gonna have a render root. As you can see, my typing is on form as always. So we're gonna say this.render root attach shadow mode open. This.render root inner HTML. Now I guess we're going to want to add stars for the amount that we have this max rating. And so maybe we want to move this to an attribute change callback. And the reason for that will be because we want to observe. So we're going to observe the max attribute. Like so. That means that this has this signature. So this is a string or null, and then we'll have new value string or null. So whenever the max attribute changes, we want to we just want to re-render the whole input, because if the max attribute changes to 10, we want to render 10 stars. 5, we want to render 5 stars, right?
Oh, I was imagining that we would have all of the stars always present, and then the color of it changes when you have selected.
Right. I guess the max is like the input, the total. So we can have a value of 2, which we will, and this will change. But I think the max is how many stars get rendered. Because there'll be like, well, this is how I'm picturing it. There's going to be a bunch of grey stars, and then you click one, and then it populates it. It goes gold, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we need to render like a certain amount of stars, right? So we want to say like for let I equals 0, I less than equal to this dot max, I plus equals 1. And then so for however many stars we have, we can say const star. I'm going to go on to this lucid.dev. Did you
what is this?
Are you familiar with this?
No.
So you know feather icons. Feather icons is great.
Of course.
Cole with feather icons has done a wonderful job. I really like it. When you click one of these, it goes to your downloads. Lucid, I don't know, is a fork of feather icons, and they've added a bunch more icons, but also the site's slightly different. So if I search for star, if I click this, it brings up this thing, and I can copy the SVG.
Oh, I love that. We do that for OctiCon. I think there's a copy SVG.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Handy.
Maybe we should pester Cole and see if he'll do it. See if he'll add it to feather icons.
Open a PR, Keith. It's probably open source.
Yeah, I should. Okay, so we're gonna say let HTML equals this string, and then I think we're gonna say, well, I guess we want to have a button for each of these. So let's say.
Is it a button or is it an input?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I feel like
a radio.
Like a radio. Ooh.
Or a checkbox.
I like the idea of a radio. So we could say input. Let's input. So input dot type equals radio. Oh well, I tell you what we could do. We could go even more wild with this. Are you familiar with Face?
No.
He's a character in the A-Team. No, that's the wrong Face. Face stands for Form Associated Custom Elements.
Okay.
Now, what this does is it lets you create your own form controls. And so when you have a form, like let's make this a form. Form, we'll just say action is the same URL, method equals get. And let's add a input. Let's add a button type submit, and let's call it save. Oh no, we're all muted.
What?
How are we all muted?
Oh no, it's just them.
Oh, it's just them.
Wow, way to give us an
Crunch.
absolute heart attack. Crunch prank.
Prank, yeah. I was gonna say this prank by name, prank by nature, eh? There he goes. I say he. I shouldn't say he. There they go. Apologies. Okay, so we've got this save button, and then this will submit the form. Wasn't intentional. I forgot to hit mute. No worries, Crunch Prank. We believe you.
Apology accepted.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so star rating. So this isn't actually providing any form input. Now what we could do is we could use a bunch of JS to like hook into the submit event listener, patch to add some more data, and then like try and submit it. However, what we could do as well is I think you say static form associated equals true, and this will tie this element this star rating element into the form. And so a bunch of stuff will get called. And so I think if we try and save, we might see... Oh, we're getting a failure. I need to comment this out, I think. Cannot set inner HTML. Let's get rid of that for now. Okay, so yeah, this form associated, it does something. Crunchbank asks, what you're building? We're building a star rating component. It's going to be, right now it's 4 stars. It'll be a configurable number of stars. You click it and you set the number of stars. So I'm going to quickly pull up the form associated custom elements. Here we go. So form associated. Oh, where's it gone? Form associated. What? I just saw this on the page. Maybe this is the wrong page. One moment, I'm going to pull up the documentation for this. I think it might be part of attach internals. Yeah, here we go. Right. So when you say this is associated to a form, what happens is this form object, there's like an additional set of APIs that can get called. And so like we have form associated callback, and this isn't in the documentation, so this is just from memory. And so I think this gets a form, and so if we console log the form and we refresh, you see we get this form. So we know that we're attached to a form now. There's also like different ones, like there's a form reset callback, which I think gets like resetted as a boolean.
That's a weird way of saying that.
Yeah, I mean that's just me saying that. Like it gets a boolean as a value, and so if I were to add like an input type reset. So you can, oh, it does not. I thought it got, well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. The point being, okay, the point being is whenever the form reset is called, we can do something about that. And so this all hooks off of this form associated true. So if I said form associated false, and I click reset, nothing happens. But as soon as I say form associated true, I click reset and I get this reset log.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there's also one other piece to this though, which is we want to tell the form that there is a value, that this web component represents a value that the form can submit. So the way we do that is we need to get the element internals, and so you have to set it to a property. You can only call this method once, so you can call attach internals, but you can only call it once. If you call it more than once, it throws an error. But then this, when we're constructed, it will initialize with get internals, and so when we look at this .internals.form, which it would help if I got rid of that, but you can see we've got the form here. But there's also some other stuff that we can do. So there's a set form value, and this does like if I set this to 4, I believe, and then I can click save. Oh, I guess it needs a name as well. Say name equals stars. I'm a bit, I don't know the full documentation on this, but I think this is right. Yeah, so you see this is set stars equals 4. And so if I change this to 3, of course, it's going to do the same thing. Like if I hit save, it's going to say stars equals 3. So all of this is to say, whenever the value changes, we can just call this set form value, and we can get our like internal representation of the value. And so we can say set value. We want to call this. Whoops, too many lines deleted. We want to call this. Nope. We want to call this, and we want to like set it based on the value, but we need to do some kind of normalization as well here. So this should take a number, and we want to say if we want to say value equals number value, and that will coerce it just in case it isn't a number, because this is just a TypeScript check. And then we can pass this directly in, but this expects a string. But we don't want to just set the form value based on like no validation whatsoever. So we want to check to say the value should equal. It should be the no bigger than the max that we've already set. So that's math min, I think, is the way around it would go. So pick the minimum between the value given and the max. And so if the max is 4 and the value is 5, it's going to pick the minimum, which is 4. If the value is 2, and so on. Yeah.
How does a half fit into that?
It will still, if this value is 3.5, it will pick 3.5, because that's quasi-chaotic says compatibility note Safari doesn't support attach internals at the moment. Yeah, that's totally correct. Welcome as well. It is correct to say that it doesn't support attached internals. You can get a polyfill, and I believe there is a polyfill for the form associated stuff, but it will only work on like Safari 15 or something, because I think it has to use request submit. Because one of the problems with doing this in any other way is that prior to a couple of years ago, when a form submits, the page starts to unload unless you prevent default. But if you prevent default and you stop the form from submitting, you can't like submit it yourself in a very easy way. You need to write a bunch of code to submit it yourself. And so this is trying to minimize a lot of that, and so did request submit. So request submit. Oh, Nojo says there's a WebKit PR, which is awesome. Yeah, so request submit is added. So when a form submits, it first calls request submit, and then you can change the data, and then you can submit it. But that doesn't work in older versions of Safari. But for even up to the latest version of Safari, we don't have this form associated. So, oh well. Safari doesn't get
Safari.
this. So we need max as well. So we're going to say get max, and this is going to return number. This dot get attribute max or 0. And actually, I guess we would say 4 as a good default. And we want to set max as well. Just for some nice symmetry. We want to say, oops, this dot set attribute max value, and the value is a number. Oh, and then because it's a number, we need to like, whoops, we need to do this and convert it to a string. Okay, so this is all a bit of a mess right now. What do we actually want from all of this? So we've got we're form associated, we've got our internals, we've got a max getter and a setter, and we've got a value setter. We probably also want a value getter, right? And so I think what might be useful is to have a private field of value, which we can just set to 0 for now. And we can just return this dot value. And then this should say this dot value. And we don't want to set the attribute of value, because that could be a security issue. Because typically you would, but I think for inputs and stuff, you don't want to set the attribute back into the serialized HTML, because if you were to then take that serialized HTML and send it somewhere, or if like a observer was listening to the HTML, it would know the user's input, and that can pose a security issue. This behavior is the same way the input type password works. So if you have an input type password and you set the value, you can't actually get the value back out. We can, but input type text does the same thing as well. So if you set the value, it won't set it on the actual HTML, as far as I remember. Anyways, this needs to be set to a string to stop TypeScript complaining. So let's actually get to rendering some of these things, right? So this is where we got on this whole thing anyway, because we were talking about radio. You suggested radio, and then I was thinking about these form associated custom elements. So I'm thinking maybe now that this could be a series of buttons. I mean, it could still be a radio. There's nothing stopping us from it being a radio. But I think it won't, even in the shadow DOM, it wouldn't propagate into the form data, I think, unless we did some magic by setting the form. But we don't have to do that.
Okay.
Let's say stars is the name. Oh, can you, I guess you can't set the HTML of an input type radio, can you? So it's going to have to be a button.
What do you mean?
An input does not take any inner HTML, so we can have a label, but then maybe we're getting a bit complicated with the HTML. But if we had a button, we can set inner HTML on a button, right?
Are you talking about for the SVG?
For the SVG, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to suggest doing it with DSS and using like a content.
Oh,
like a before, and then like a data image or something.
Interesting.
Or I guess, yeah. But it depends on the semantics of this. Like, what does a form of buttons mean? Is that like as meaningful as a field set of radios?
That's a really good question. I have no idea.
I think it's a form. I think it's a radio because you're selecting one option out of a field set and then submitting.
Well, but it's inside the shadow DOM, which kind of makes it its own little page, I guess.
Okay.
And so the way I was thinking about it with the buttons, I don't know if it's one way is better than the other, but the way I was thinking about it with the buttons is you just got a little page with like 4 or 5 or 10 buttons, and you just click one of them, or you can tab through them, and when you press on one of them, it dispatches that you've clicked one of those. Like, it's almost like if it was its own page, you could have, say you had 5 stars, you could have 5 individual forms, each with a button that just submitted that number. Like, each one had a different value. I think that's the point, I guess, is that there's like loads of ways to do this.
Yeah. Definitely.
But let's go with the input type range. Input type. Yeah. So we're gonna need a label, I guess, is the thing. So we'll need a label.
A field set.
And you also want a field set.
I do. I do want a field set.
Yeah. Field set. I'm not super familiar with field sets, so this is going to be fun.
That'll go around all of the input to create like one grouping.
So let's add our input type radio name equals stars. I guess this is going to be value equals I. I'll put this in quotes just because. Okay, cool. So then we can say field set append label, and then we can say render root append field set. Okay. Cannot read undefined of append line 54. Okay, so the render root isn't always available. So the attribute change callback fires when the attributes are changed. And in this case, so we get to here, we construct, we get to here, we construct this star rating, then we fire attribute change callback because there is an attribute. But by the time you get to here is when the connected callback fires. And so the attribute change callback is firing before the connected callback. That's the problem that we're seeing. So what we need to say is if this.render root, if we don't have a render root, we just want to return. And then this method can be set stars. And then we'll call set stars on attribute change callback. And we'll also have to call it on the connected callback. Okay, so we've got some stars.
Cool.
Let's put some CSS in here, I reckon.
Yep.
Cool. So I guess the first thing we want to do. Oh, did I adopt the style sheet? I have not. That could have been disastrous. So we need to adopt the style sheet. So adopt the style sheet, push styles. So I guess we want input type range. No. Radio. I keep slipping and saying range. Input type radio. Display appearance none. I don't know what I'm doing here. Is this right? Okay, we got rid of the buttons. Okay.
Should we try to add an SVG as a pseudo element, or do we want to keep the SVG there? Like, what happens if you click one of those right now?
So they should be part of the label, right? So it should. It's hard to know.
Oh, I see. The label's wrapping it. Okay.
The label's wrapping it, but it's hard to know which input type radio.value should represent the checked one, right? If I take appearance none back off, that's what we should do. I'll take appearance none back off. If I click this star, it clicks this. So they are getting clicked.
Okay. Yeah, because the label's wrapping.
So I should be able to say this.render root.add event listener change this, and then we can have a handle event. And then this handle event, we're going to say if event.type equals change. We should be able to see the event target should be one of these radio buttons, which also means event target value should be the value that we were after. Yeah, so we've got 1, so that should be 3, and that's 4. Wait, there's 5 stars. What's going on here? Oh, this. There we go.
You mean
0 indexing.
It was just trying to use the correct amount of stars for a star rating.
You really don't want 4 stars, do you? I'll change it.
It's okay.
Should we put it at 10? I'm confident now because we've got 4 stars that we can scale this. This is scalable now, right? Look, there's 10 stars. We've got 10 stars now.
I approve of that.
Okay. So we can set the value, right? We've got the value, we can set the value. So we need to say, what do we need to say? We need to say, on the change event, this value equals this target value. Whoa. Properties of undefined reading value. That's event target value. Okay. Nothing's happening, but if I hit save, stars equals 8. This is already working. So now we just need to style it. We just need to figure out what we're doing with the styles, which is always fun for me. Okay, so we got appearance none on the input radio. I guess we want to style the SVGs. I guess what we could do with the value. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna make a new style sheet here. And when we change the value, I'm gonna say this dot style sheet replace sync. Where should this go? I'll put it on the host for now. But I don't think this should be on the host forever. But it's whatever for now. This is going to be this dot value. Okay. So if we look at our... Where are we? Form star rating. If we look at our form star rating...
Where'd our stars go?
Where did they go? Oh, it's because this is this dot styles. That's why. And we also need to say this dot styles here. Okay, we're getting there, right? So if I click this, yeah. So we've got this host style with this custom property of value, which is 6, and so I think we can use that. I don't know if we can use that because I think that we might be better off adding a class. I was thinking that we could use that because then we could say like SVG nth child, but I don't know if you can say var value here, can you?
I don't actually know.
Oh, it might help if I say like color hot pink. I don't know why I pick hot pink. There's no need to pick
I'm a
hot
deep pink. I'm a deep pink person.
Deep pink?
Yeah. That's my debug color.
That's like next level hot pink.
I think they're very similar.
Well, we will find out in a minute when we get this working, I guess. Let's set this to SVG and see what we've got. Oh yeah, let's see hot pink. I want to see the difference now. Oh wow, they are similar.
Oh, mine's way better.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Wait, if I said nth child odd, that's not right, is it? What is it? Nth child odd?
Type?
Nth of type? Nth of type.
No.
No.
I don't know. This is the one that I always have to just continuously throw at a wall until it works.
I'm sure it's not, oh!
No, because they're all in separate
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Okay.
Also both are hot pink, that is true. That doesn't help matters. Anyways, we're getting distracted. Deep pink is clearly the better color.
Absolutely. Should we just well, I don't want to completely derail us, but I think it would be better to use like a pseudo element for the SVG because right now we have like a weird space. I mean, I guess we could do some alignment and just like cover the.
I'm happy to.
Radio?
Like we can try. So this is going to be input type radio after.
Sure.
Content, and then can we just drop the SVG right in there?
I don't think so. I think you need to go make a data image, but I'm not sure. Do you know what that is?
Like a base 64 encoded version?
If you Google it, then you can usually generate one very easily.
Okay. Is that gonna, does this need to be in something other than content?
The data? Oh. Not sure. We could also just use like a
background
image.
We can convert this anyway. So if I take the contents of this, if I said xclip -o, wait, we didn't get it. Oh, is it not O? -o clip. How do I paste on the command line? It is O. Wait a second. I have it. It's right here. Why would you not paste it? X clip. No. I don't know why this isn't pasting. I have it anyway. Right, if we said echo base 64, Nojo asked am I using Linux, and I am gonna reply saying yes, I am using Linux. Base 64. So this is the base 64 version. I'm using Manjaro Linux, by the way, for anyone curious. We've got the base 64 version of the Swigger.
Okay.
We can just plonk that in there, I guess, and I'll make it one giant string. Oh no, did that join the right way? I think the space is.
So I think you need URL.
There's like a preamble. It's like data, image, SVG plus XML, base 64, something, colon.
Yeah. Did you just do that off the top of your head? Jesus.
No. It's
okay.
It's in the corner of the screen. I just made it look like I did.
I'm digging up some of my own CSS. I think it's a comma after 64.
I think it's
actually. And I think.
Is it a comma after base 64 like that?
Yeah, but I think you need like a URL.
Right. So, oh my god, I can't even edit. URL like this.
Yes, and then try. Okay, do a content with nothing.
Oh yeah, because and like a width at least.
Yeah.
And then maybe an aspect ratio 1, 24 pixels.
What are we missing?
I wonder if, because these are appearance none, they're getting flattened out. Display block. Says Nojo. Let's try display block.
Can you inspect? Let's look at it.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, well, it's not there, is it? Is it there?
Oh, we've got an error.
Oh.
I should have noticed that. Oh, what's the error? Have I... what is the error? There's a syntax error somewhere down here. Oh, cool. I just randomly... I think when I was messing around with my clipboard, I must have messed that up. Okay, so look, we've got the stars.
Is it, or is the SVG still in there?
Oh, the SVG still in there? Maybe. Yeah. Well, I was about to say it looked like we had 20 stars. That makes a lot of sense.
One more cool thing, because I think we're actually going to need this. Anyways, change your background to mask. Like, just change the word background to mask.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Oh. And then do mask size contain.
Mask size contain. Will I need a background color for this? Like a background
You'll need a color.
I'll need a color. Oh,
I think.
Interesting.
So we should be able to change the oh, actually it is background color. You're right. Why is it... No, change it to like... It should be masking, so we should just see a star.
It seems like the mask has not applied for some reason. It could be because...
Oh, is this not in Chrome?
This is Chrome.
But maybe Chrome, maybe you need a fallback for silly old Chrome. Like
WebKit?
And then do WebKit mask, probably too. Yeah.
Very
now make
cool.
it deep pink.
Deep pink. Deep pink. Is there a deep purple?
Woo!
Excellent.
I don't know. So now we can impact
This
the color
looks
of this little image.
This is very cool. I need to find out if it's deep purple though. Why can I not edit this CSS? I love the dev tools intensely, but I also sometimes get very frustrated. I don't understand why I cannot edit the CSS. Whatever.
That would be extremely frustrating to me. Is this a web components limitation or a Chrome?
I think it's a Chrome DevTools limitation, and I'm wondering if it's because it's a constructed style sheet. Maybe it's still kind of new.
Okay, you should switch to Firefox.
I should switch to Firefox. Well, Firefox is my main browser. It out there. Firefox is my main browser. The only problem is it has like all my history on it. It has everything on it. And it doesn't. It also Chrome has some support for some of the newer web components features that we wanted to try out, and so I've kind of just stuck with Chrome for the streaming.
I got you.
But yeah, I do
Deep
use
Purple.
Deep Purple isn't a thing, but Deep Pink is. I think that's right though. There should only be one deep color.
Yeah. Can we also just for my sanity remove this field set box happening?
Yes, yeah, the field set's pretty gnarly, isn't it?
It's ugly.
I hope it's just a border 0. I don't know why my editor is convinced that I want indent all the way over to the right. So one thing that's still kind of bugging me is why they're so off. Oh, it's because of the padding of the field set.
Yeah. So just remove the padding. Maybe we could throw some flex or grid on there, and I don't know. Well, they're already kind of spaced out nicely, aren't they?
I think they're spaced out nicely, yeah. So I guess the simple thing is, if we did an input, hover after. And then we can just say background gold.
Yep, I looked at my CSS yellow colors ahead of time. Gold is probably the most appropriate star rating.
Yeah. What I have only just realized is that I need to do some more advanced CSS here, because this is okay, but it would be nice to see the rest of them fill up, right? We want this to fill up.
Yeah. We might need a different SVG for the filled state.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that as well. I wonder if this icon site has a filled one. It does not. It does have this one, which is kind of nice, but I don't know.
Look, there's a star half.
There is a star.
Okay.
Okay, we need to. What would be the selector here? Would it be plus or squiggly? Would it be
that's a good idea to use has. Can we use has in Chrome?
Well, yeah, we can use has. Wait, has to select the stars before. How would we use has to select the stars before? We would say input type. You can only use combinators to select forward. Yeah. Okay, so so we could say field set has input type hover. So this makes it gold. What I have a feeling is we're going to have to do this for every single star. So it's going to be if the nth child 5 hover, then 1, 2, 3, 4 set to background gold. I really don't want to do that. There's got to be a better way than that, right? What do you think, NoJo? DNTNT says, has forward sibling that is gold? Has a forward sibling that is gold? Doing research, says NoJo.
Same. I'm also doing research. Watch us read things for 5 minutes.
Oh man, this is another one that's gone. We think, do you know what? Star rating. It's going to be quite quite straightforward, but it's always the little bits that trick you up, and it seems to be always CSS. I think I've realised that this is one thing I've learned, going back to the question you asked. CSS is it's real intense. There's like a lot of very powerful stuff that you can do, but it's also very hard to get right.
Are you saying it's a programming language?
Oh, I wouldn't go that. No, yes, definitely, it's a programming language. It's unquestionably a programming language, and this demonstrates it. Okay, what we want to do is we want to select. I'm pretty sure we can use. I feel like we can use specificity here. So, if we said input hover. Every one of them. This will hide. Oh no, it doesn't do what I thought it did at all. I thought this would say, like, select the nearest input type radios to the hover, but it seems to have not. Let me inspect this. We're gonna go for state hover. There's no selector that's come up, is there? Is this even a valid thing? Am I just making up this selector?
That's valid.
Like the tilde.
I just, like, you need to be in a CSS file so you can hover it and it will tell you what the selector is.
Right, exactly.
I need my tool.
There are no tools here, just very irritating read-only style sheets. Yeah, we could do this with JavaScript. DNTNT says we could do it with JavaScript. I think I'm kind of loath to do it with JavaScript. Wow, Nojo's dropped the.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Okay, so we can say field set has input type radio hover, and then we can say input type radio, and this will not. Why is this setting the background? Oh, because this needs to be after. Right, so this sets them all to gold, like Nojo said, and then we can say input type hover. Then we use the tilde selector. I thought the tilde selector would come into this, and then we can say input type radio. Background deep pink, I guess. Huh, that didn't work. Oh, because again we need to do after. Nojo says without has for the without has. Oh, like yes, of course, yeah. Like this. That's still not working. Input type, radio, hover, tilde, input type radio, after. Might need important. Oh, you think the specificity is overriding it? It's still not. Let's just say solid red border, and then we can kind of debug, because that's not a property that's been set here, right? But this, yeah, still doesn't seem. Maybe it's this one as well. I'll just get rid of that for good measure. So it's still, we've still got this issue. I want to see if I right click for state hover, we should be able to see the selectors here, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you typically.
Typically, yes. What has gone on?
Is the hover on the input? Yeah.
The hover is on the input.
Oh, maybe the after? I don't know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Right, so this isn't, well, so this is the one I clicked, or the one I hovered. So we should look at the one after that. We should see if we've got the styles. So the styles aren't being applied for some reason.
So field set has an input type radio, hover.
So this would be input type radio hover tilde input type radio. Oh, the labels? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. This selector isn't applying. Can you use has here? This would be wild if you can. No, that wouldn't even make sense. Well, would it? If you did a has selector here. No, because then it would still style the label.
We can put the label as a sibling instead of wrapping.
We could do. We'd then need IDs to tie them together as well, though, wouldn't we?
Yep.
Okay. What? I wonder if. What if we did the label instead of the input?
Yeah.
Nojo also has a suggestion of label has input type radio tilde label input radio. Let's try that. I'm just gonna copy and paste Nojo CSS, and we'll see if we can
writing CSS in Discord chat is like next level.
Yeah, this is this is really next level, isn't it? So we're going to say, a label that has an input type hover with a label, with a sibling label input type radio after. Oh yeah, this is it. So I think we want to get rid of the pixels, the 1 pixel border. This is it.
How freaking exciting is that?
Congratulations, Nojo. That was the right line of CSS and over chat as well.
You win the CSS puzzle of the day.
Okay. High fives all round. High five, high five, high five, high five. With 3 minutes to spare, no less. Okay, so we still need to ensure.
Checked.
Is it checked? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can just copy and paste these 2 lines and we can just change this to checked. Yeah, this is great. This is awesome.
This is so cool.
There's a bit of work more to do, I feel like but the thing is, we got the basics working, right? Like I can click one of these, I can hit save, and it changes. It submits the form, which I think is super cool. We're using native forms, and we're submitting it. The styles work really nicely. I think there's a little bit of tweaking to do. I think some like solid SVGs for when the star is clicked, maybe.
Yeah.
Also,
and there's more we could do for like accessibility, right? We could actually put like a text label and just visually hide it or something. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. So I just spotted a bug, by the way, which is a really easy fix. So if we change this to like 10, we get like 10 more stars, and that is because we're using append here. But if we say replace children, this just needs to be filled set. Right, so if I set this to like 9, and then I set this to 5, and then I hit save, this is a problem. But we can figure that one out. That's a small bug. But otherwise, I think this is looking great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super cool. We did it. And you did it. You finished your last stream.
I did. I finished my last stream. It's amazing. I can't believe I can't believe I did this for 16 days. I can't believe we did. I want to see what the what was this now? This because we this is the 21st web component that we did.
Amazing.
Wow.
What are you gonna do with all your this free time now that you're done building web components every morning?
Thank you for the question. That's evening. A really good question. Yeah, evening. Yeah, this is my 5 p.m. hour right now. I've got my life back. I could do anything. I could read books. I'm gonna continue building web component stuff. I've actually been working on something, and I have a little gift / some homework for every one of our viewers.
Ooh.
I've been working on this, which is Web Components Guide, and this is a full set of documentation, start to finish, for web components. It's very rough around the edges, but it has some documentation about how to build web components. If any of y'all have learned anything from this series, I would really love you to submit an issue, or maybe even a pull request adding some documentation to this. There's documentation about how to set up your environment, like what web browsers to pick. It's still very early. There's introduction to JavaScript, some introduction to things like classes, also how you define a component, and I would love to extend this all the way to like how to build an application with web components.
So great.
Yeah.
Can you stick this link in the chat, maybe?
Yes, that's a great idea. I will stick it in the chat. So this is webcomponents.guide. There is a GitHub repository. So if you go to the footer and click the GitHub repository, it's got its own organization, but this is the GitHub repository. Oh, cool. TNT says
Electron.
That you're working on an app built in Electron. It's all web component based in Electron. That's awesome. I would love to see that. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, please go read the documentation. If you find any issues, please let me know. If you want to contribute, please do contribute. I've been noodling away on this for like a month or so. Like I say, it's still very early days, but I think this could be a really cool place to find documentation and to like tease out some of the issues that we've seen over the stream, right? Like the specs are very complex and difficult to read, but it seems like sometimes it's the only place that you can go and read some of this stuff. Let's have a friendly place where we can read some of these things and learn how to build these components. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
So I'm going to keep on hacking away at this. That's what I'm going to be doing with my free time, other than enjoying some free time and some holiday for the rest of the year. But I will be back in the new year streaming something. So I guess watch this space. What about you, Katie? What are you going to do?
I'm going to say make sure you follow Keith, because you want to be notified next time he goes live.
Yes.
Because he'll be back.
Yeah.
But what am I gonna do?
Holidays.
I don't know. I'm on break for 2 weeks. I'm gonna work on a side project.
Awesome.
And enjoy sunny San Diego during the holidays.
That's
sorry.
Awesome. Why sorry?
the rest of the world in America is experiencing heavy wind and snow and rain right now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best weather out. It's pitch black outside right now, and it's only 5 p.m. But yeah, enjoy. I say if you have it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a super fun ride. I do hope y'all will continue to hang out next year, and I really hope you'll check out this web component guide. And I guess that's it. I guess that's bye for now.
That's it.
Enjoy your holidays, everyone. If you've got any holidays. Thank you, Katie. It's been a wonderful time with you. Start and end. We started with you and we've ended with you. And I think we've made 3 great components. Blink, Marquee, and now Star Rating. Thank you very much for your input.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you all around.
Bye.
Bye.